Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the first episode of Taskmaster Series 14. Now, this video is going to be going up a bit later than I would have hoped, but I hope that's okay. I'm not sure whether it will be before or after the second episode is released. So yeah, apologies about that, but it's the only time I'll be able to film. This video I'll probably just be going briefly through the episode, talking about what I liked, what I think worked, how I think the contestants are doing so far, and yeah, just speculating about what will happen in Series 14. So I hope you enjoy. So first of all, I really like the theme for this series. Obviously we haven't seen much of it come into play that much yet, but I really like the circus theme that we've got going on. I think it's something that I'm surprised that they haven't done before, because it fits really into the style of the show, the humour of it, and kind of the way the show functions. You know, we've got this Taskmaster, this showman in the middle that's like, they've got all these people that they are kind of in control of and they're setting challenges to. Like, it's obviously different in a circus, but I think it's just something that works very well with the theme of the show. So I think, yeah, it fits very well. And I love that Fern's costume, outfit that she's chosen for this series fits into that circus theme as well, because her, the unitard thing just kind of fits into it very well. It looks very circus-esque to me. And Munya a little bit as well. But yeah, particularly Fern, which I think is lovely. I don't know whether they're told what the theme's going to be before the series starts, before they start filming. But yeah, so if they haven't, that's just a very cool coincidence. I think the circus theme could come into a lot of different tasks as well. So that'd be interesting to see what they do with that, because sometimes they come into play, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I think that it's definitely something they could do a lot of challenges around, or at least have some sort of circus theme in some challenges and some tasks. So the first task is obviously the prize task, and I actually thought this was a pretty good prize task. I know I've talked about on my channel before about how the prize task has kind of declined in quality as the series have gone on, and that it doesn't really, the prizes just often aren't that good, and the categories are often so specific that it's hard to kind of get that creativity there. But I think this one's really good prize task. I thought most jaw-dropping item allows people to kind of explore lots of different things and go a bit crazy with it, which I don't know, they don't really go too crazy with it. But I thought that, yeah, I think everybody's was all right. John's wasn't great, just the Guinness World Record book. I know there's been a few contestants who have brought in Guinness, an actual record that they've done, a world record that they hold. So I was expecting John to have some sort of world record, but he didn't. He just brought in a record book, so he definitely deserved 1 point for that. But for me, the prize task kind of functions in a way to allow the comedians to not work on a stand-up, but demonstrate some of their stand-up and just their style of comedy in general. So I know a lot of people have talked about whether or not they want the prize task to go, but in my opinion, I think it should stay. My favourite prize task was Fern's. I think it definitely deserved 5 points, because actually Sarah's I think could have been joint top as well, but I really liked Fern's, because the way she told the story, the way, Sarah interacted with it as well, there was jaw-dropping moments, the fact that there's this couple that rescues chickens, names them after female comedians, that just is jaw-dropping a bit in itself. And then the fact that Fern was told that Fern Brady, the chicken, had died, that's jaw-dropping. And then the whole died what she's doing, love best, eating out of his hand and whatever. I thought it was a very well told story, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was a bit jaw-dropping, so I think it definitely deserves 5 points. Sarah's as well, this ceramic bangle holder that she brought in with one of her jokes engraved on it, that was very funny. That was jaw-dropping. I think if I was to score it, I'd probably give them joint first. I really like Dara's as well with the cartoon. It's clear that he kind of put a lot of effort into it, which I really like. And again, the kind of build up to the reveal of Alex was very good as well. And I really did like Munya's prize task as well, which was a knitted version of his head. I think that, obviously we don't know what the prize tasks are in later episodes, but I feel like he could have saved that for something else. I wouldn't really say it's jaw-dropping, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think Greg did score this pretty accurately in my opinion. So the first task was the task where they had a box on their head, and I think this is a really good task to start with, especially for both actually for new viewers of the show and for returning viewers. So for us returning viewers, we're kind of put in that place of we don't really know what's going on. Why have they got boxes on their head? It's very weird. It's very, very distinctive of Taskmaster, and for new viewers as well. Like, they would just feel like they've fallen into a weird rabbit hole and they don't know what's going on. And I think that would be very funny, especially for a new time viewer. It's very funny for me as a returning viewer. So yeah, I thought it was a really good task. It really encapsulates a lot of the craziness and silliness of Taskmaster. And yeah, to have, in addition to that, to have Alex dressed as a carrot, well, you don't really get the reason why he's dressed as a carrot until like later on. So yeah, I thought it was a very, very good task to put first. One thing I do, not a complaint, but a little thing, was I thought the phrasing of the task was quite weird, which was just like, what 10 films are you in? I don't really, like, obviously they got what it was in the end, but I think it was just a very weird way of phrasing the task. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit weird. Doesn't really make an impact on the task at all, but it's just something that it just made me a bit confused. And again, I think you kind of got a lot of the personalities from the contestants in this task. So Fern immediately getting angry, which is something that we're probably going to see as we go on. If you've watched her interview, I think only 3 of the interviews have been released as of filming this video. Fern does kind of get angry at points as well, so that's something we'll see going forward. I think Dara was somewhat sensible but annoyed. John, bit weird doing, like, he was quite good at it. He immediately got a film right, so I think there is going to be some sort of unexplained genius with John that we get throughout the series. And then Munya and Sarah being genuinely very good at the task. I think Sarah, especially judging from this episode, is the one to watch out for, but obviously it's very, very early days. I think Dara is going to be very good as well, because obviously he's got this like scientific background, but then he also forgot what the word for boomerang was. So I think, yeah, I don't know whether he'll quite be Victoria Karen Mitchell level of Taskmaster, where she's very smart but not very good at the tasks. Yeah, there's loads of funny bits in this. John's peas and his film pitch, I thought that was very funny. And yeah, this was a fun task. I think I would have really struggled with it, because even though I know the names of all those films, I haven't seen all of them, and I feel like it would have been a difficult task even if they weren't like blindfolded or with a box on their head. So yeah, it's quite tricky, and I'm very impressed with all of them really, forgetting some of them. But yes, especially Munya and Sarah, like, they did very, very well, and Fern as well actually. And yeah, like, I wouldn't have done that well at all. And I'm very surprised at the Karate Kid one at the end with like Alex dressed as a carrot. Like, that just seemed madness to me. But yeah, they did all pretty good on that. And I really liked, like I said, that John got 7 straight away. I thought actually that Munya would get it because he was so close. He was like, oh, there's a film where there's a head in a box. It's like a very big moment. But he didn't get it, unfortunately. This task also led to the first of, I imagine, loads of Munya's Zimbabwe stories. This weird gardener one, very funny, and yeah, I can't wait to see all the other things that Munya says, because he's got that very sarcastic, is he telling the truth, is he just making this up kind of sense of humour, and I really enjoyed that. Task number 2 was the one in Gatwick Airport, which is pretty impressive, and was land the loo roll in the loo. They had 15 minutes, had to stay on the spot. I think this was pretty impressive that they managed to get Gatwick Airport to like rent out an entire like wing of it, and yeah, it just shows how much budget Channel 4 has compared to what UKTV had, and yeah, how much that has expended, and also how much bigger the show has gotten since. So that's pretty cool, and I imagine that's going to be popping up throughout the series that they filmed in Gatwick Airport. I'm not sure why. Maybe there'll be a more plane-related task. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this task as well. Again, it just shows that they're turning something very silly into something that people take seriously. I loved Fern just like throwing them in, doing it all in like 2 minutes, and I love that she said, like, do you think I should have a tactic with this? So I think Fern is going to be like a joy throughout this series for me. And then we've got like Fern's efforts contrasted with Dara, who takes a more like tactical, thoughtful approach to it and did end up winning. But yeah, Fern came second in that task, so I think it does again show that it doesn't really matter too much what your tactics are. Like, if you do just want to lob a bunch of loo rolls at a toilet, like, you could come second place. Yeah, Munya was hilarious in this one as well, with the LeBron James thing. I enjoyed that, and I imagine, I don't know whether it'll be a running joke. I know Greg said it at the end in the studio task, but I don't know whether it'll become a full running joke throughout the series, but we'll see. Again, like, with Dara, and Munya and John as well, like, I was so invested in them trying to get it in. It was, as Dara said, it was shattering. It is shattering. But yeah, I did really enjoy that. And again, Sarah being having, again, that little moment of genius by like wetting the toilet paper, which is very good. And the fact that she made the toilet flush, which we were a bit baffled by, like how, it's not like piped, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it's a flushing toilet that they obviously just like put there, but I thought that was very funny. And John, I think, was the highlight for me of this task. It wasn't very good, but it was very funny. Him just immediately throwing his jacket on the chair, his whole, I'm going to use gravity, and like throwing the toilet paper up. It was just very fun, and he did so much in this task. Oh my god, the paper aeroplanes, beautiful and heartbreaking when it didn't go into the toilet, and then the fact that he made that amazing shot afterwards. I don't think it's quite as like impressive as, is it Mark Watson's yogurt kick? That was impressive, but that's kind of on the same level as that, where it was just amazing to do, but didn't do it at the right time, or it didn't like count. That was a very, very fun task. Again, just showing the silliness of Taskmaster. Task number 3 was a team task, which I found quite interesting that they're bringing out the team tasks in the first episode. I don't know whether that means there's going to be more team tasks than there have been in previous series, because I might be wrong, but I can't remember there being a team task in the first episode of a series, but I might be wrong with that. I'm sure there's people who will know that, but so I thought that was quite interesting. I like the pairings of the teams. I think they fit quite well. Obviously, I don't really know the contestants too well so far, but I do like how they all interacted. I think it's quite funny that Dara had to kind of like take the lead in his challenge, but also it just failed. I like the chaos that we got in the team of 3, and also team 2 a bit more methodical, but still having fun with it as well. Munya and Sarah's like drawing of a bird was pretty good as well. More like better than I thought they would do, because I thought this challenge was actually very difficult. I haven't actually said what the task was, but I'm sure if you watched it, you'll know. But it was to draw the bird. If they say a name of the bird, Alex will follow the person who said the bird, and then they have to say a fish to stop. So it was very difficult. It took me like a few minutes to actually realise what the actual task was. Like that he would keep following that person around, which I don't think Dara realised. Well, yeah, he didn't realise what that was. But yeah, I thought it was a very difficult task. I think it's probably the most difficult art task that they've had. And yeah, just the team of 3 descending into chaos, and Dara going a bit insane. But in Dara's defence, when he posted he posted a picture of the bird that he saw on Twitter, and it does look like a bird, but other people pointed out that it's just a bunch of squiggles. You could kind of make it look however you wanted. I think the scoring was pretty fair on this one. Munya and Sarah definitely deserved the most points, like hands down. And last but not least was the studio task, which was to put an item of like additional clothing into this like giant Cecil thing, and they weren't allowed to pop the balloon. Again, I think this is a pretty good one for a first episode. It was quite a bit exciting. There's that tension there. Sometimes the studio tasks can be a bit anticlimactic, or not that not that energetic. I prefer the very kind of like competitive task, because all of them doing something like in the room together. So like I like it when it's a bit more intense. Even if it's something silly like the hot dog or finger one in series 7, just something silly, but like they actually get very competitive about it, and I think we got a bit of that here. It didn't descend into chaos like it had in previous series in the first episode, but I thought this was very good. Again, there was references to Dara using science. I think that is going to be, or using physics, that I think is going to pop up a lot through this series, even though he's just kind of doing a bit like, it's just common sense really. John, I think, being a bit more daring with it. I really like his style of comedy. I haven't seen anything that he's done before, but I'm really enjoying his humour, and he's definitely somebody that I will check out now that I know him a bit more. I liked that he refused to hold Munya's hand when he was putting it in to like stabilise him, because he's coming last, so we definitely got that bit of competitiveness coming through. Again, it's kind of a hard balance to get that right, because you want people to be competitive, but you don't want them to ruin the fun. And I think I just thought he was very funny. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to say for this episode. There are some things I wanted to say about kind of what I expect to happen and things I'm looking forward to. So one thing I'm looking forward to, as I did mention before, is the possibility of having like circus themed tasks. I wonder if they could maybe have like a circus tent that they could do tasks in or something like that. Given the budget where they've managed to rent out Gatwick Airport, they could probably do that, and I think that'd be really cool. And again, I am expecting to see there to be more tasks in that airport that they've rented out, because I doubt they would have rented it out for one task. I think they're definitely going to have to do a few more things than one task in there, so that would be really cool. A few other things. In the intro to the show, there is a clip of microwaves and then milk on top. Now, if you've watched the New Zealand Taskmaster, Taskmaster New Zealand Series 2, you'll know that this is a task from that series. It is an amazing task. I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen the New Zealand version because you deserve to watch it in all its glory. But if it is that task, we are in for a treat because it was just amazing in that series. And also in the promo that they released, there is the Eat the Grape task, which is again from Taskmaster New Zealand Series 2. And if you've watched my review on it, you'll know that that task was one of my favourites. It'll be interesting to see how that one especially plays out with these contestants, because that one was made so hilarious because of particularly one contestant's approach to that task, but the other 4 were just as chaotic or like genuinely very good at that task. So yeah, I'm very excited for those 2 tasks just to see how different they can be, because I don't want them to have copied it directly, because I don't know, I think they know a lot of us have watched the New Zealand one, so I hope they haven't copied it directly, because I never like it when things are copied like directly. But if they put their own twist on it, I just can't wait to see what that will be. I'm very excited for that. Again, I'm not going to really spoil it, but yeah, if you haven't seen Taskmaster New Zealand, then yeah, we're in for a treat. I cannot wait for those 2 episodes. And actually, I wonder if they'll address that they are from the New Zealand one. Be interesting, because yeah, they definitely know that we watched them, because at that Taskmaster meetup, which unfortunately didn't get to go to, but at that meetup, Paul Williams, who is the New Zealand Taskmaster assistant, he went to that. So yeah, it'd be awesome to see if they do reference it or something like that, or maybe have Paul come into play in some way. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this series. I think there's lots of good things to look forward to. I think all of the contestants are really good. I've seen some people say they weren't as impressed by this episode, but I disagree. I thought it was a very strong opening episode. Yeah, I thought it showed the contestants' personalities and comedy style very well, and the tasks were fun. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And even if it wasn't as... I think the first episode of the last series was a lot more chaotic, a bit more like higher energy, I guess. But I think this was really good. If you don't like the comedians as much, then fair enough. But I think they're all great. And yeah, it's another series of Taskmaster. Like, what can't you love about it? I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. If you like this video, then please give it a like. It's much appreciated and it really helps the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on the first episode of Taskmaster Series 14. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos to do with Taskmaster. I'll have some more videos out for you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!